My wife 33 female has been cheating on me 34 male with my best friend 33 male when he stays with us on some weekends and she has no idea I know. Background: we only have ex at max twice a month since we have been married for over 10 years. We met in college and both had limited experience with ex before getting married. Christian school ex life is very vanilla and infrequent our entire marriage. My best friend started coming regularly during COVID on weekends to stay over from out of town, and I guess at some point they started having ex. During quarantine weekends after putting the kids to bed we would all three stay up drinking and hanging out. We spent several of those weekends talking about my buddy's love life. Inevitably the later it got the conversation would turn to his ex life. He has always been a horn dog that is very good looking and would share stories with my wife of the things he did with women. He would talk about how he never hooked up with a girl that didn't try to get back with him. He would go on and on about it some nights. I wonder if that eventually made my wife so curious she wanted to try him. I really don't know how it started. I sleep in my office in a special bed for my sleep apnea, and once the medication I take kicks in I am usually out of it. My office is upstairs tucked away from all the bedrooms in the house. The kids' room, the guest bedroom where my friend would stay and our master are all downstairs. The night I found out I did something I never do and fell asleep without my meds or CPAP on. I woke up in the middle of the night gasping for air and went downstairs to the kitchen for some water. While I was there I went to check on my kids, then walked down the hall to our master to check on my wife, but she wasn't there. I then heard low muffled moaning coming from the guest bedroom where my friend was staying the weekend. When I put my ear to the door to listen I could tell it was my wife doing the moaning and it felt like a gunshot to my heart. I listened to them having ex for a while and eventually went back to my office in shock. I am too afraid to confront either of them for fear of her leaving me. We have kids and I love her. I don't want to break up my family. This happened back in February and I've heard them having ex several times since then. I kept hoping maybe it would just pass and they got it out of their system. Truth be told, the longer I sat with it I was becoming okay with the idea that she was getting a chance to enjoy ex because we never had much of a ex life. She still treats me well and we have a really good relationship outside the bedroom. I am not the type of guy that thought I would ever even be considering letting her get away with something like this, but I am having a hard time with the idea of confronting them. I don't want her to leave me out of embarrassment of being caught, or the fact that I knew about it and did nothing. In the past few months I've searched her phone and she has sent him lots of lewd pictures and videos. Unfortunately they must be using a messenger app that she clears the text because I don't get any of their conversation but the media saves to a folder. If I could I would really like to know what the relationship is like they are having and how she feels. I know I should leave and confront, but I am so much in my feelings on this. Since I found out our ex hasn't changed, maybe better, but I feel like she is in a much better mood all of the time when we are together. She is a wonderful mother to our kids and makes me happy most all of the time I am with her. TLDR, my wife is having ex with my best friend, and I did not confront them when I found out. It's been over 6 months and I still don't know how I want to proceed. I don't know what I expect from writing this, but I needed to get it out. Thanks for reading. Edit: to those that say this isn't real. It is. I can see why some of y'all could say it's not because I left some details out. I'll admit I've enjoyed listening to them, and it has aroused me. I think that's the main reason I haven't confronted them. I am so ex-starved, even this is better than our ex-life before. I am always ashamed after I get off, or even the fact that it can turn me on. I am just fighting with how I feel. I don't see myself as a cuck, but I can see how it looks that way. Update. Thank you for all the replies. I think I've come to terms with the fact I like that he's ducking my wife for many reasons. Something I didn't think I'd ever be okay with, but I am. 1. I can keep my family together and keep my best friend. 2. She seems much more compatible with him sexually. 3. It takes pressure off of me to fulfill her sexually. Something I haven't been able to do, and now I can enjoy my happy marriage with her without worrying about that. 4. She seems happier now she is getting good ex, and it has made my life less stressful because she's in a much better place. 5. The truth is I find it very erotic and arousing listening to. 6. If she gets tired of him I am open to others. Also, to address the fear that some have that she will leave me for him is not going to happen. She gets along with me much better and I am the father of her children. I have a great job and bring a lot of good qualities to our marriage that she wouldn't get with him. He's fun but not responsible, and I also don't think he'd want to replace me in my other roles. I think I will try the suggestion of Umu 1992. Hey, if you are into it, maybe explore it. Nothing to lose really at this point. One night when y'all are drinking, just casually bring up like, hey, maybe you could give us some pointers. Then try to lead it into a sort of three-way where you just watch him practice some moves with her, maybe even clothed, and just let it progress. It may change your ex-life forever for the better. I could see this going well. I may alter it a bit and then give him my blessings to duck her. I am also considering talking to him one-on-one before. If this goes poorly and she wants to leave me for him, then at least I said what I wanted to say. Once again, thanks to everyone for their feedback. I realize not everyone will agree with this decision, and if anyone wants to add to this, I value your comments and my DM is open. Why would you want to live like this? Confront both of them and definitely toss him out, he's no friend. Get yourself into therapy as your current mindset is not normal. Yes, no matter what ends up happening, get therapy. Begin planning for a divorce. Do it covertly. Do not tell your wife you know anything. Why? You need to start gathering and cataloging evidence. Open a separate account at a different bank or credit union in your name only. Get all of your other paperwork ready. Make copies and scan saved documents for your lawyer. Figure out custody and placement of kids. If you end up having to move out, have a place ready to go to. Rent a storage unit for your items that might need to be moved out temporarily, or put them in the care of friends and relatives. Remember, she declared war on you by sleeping with this guy. Use the principles from The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Read it if you haven't yet. All warfare is deception. If you upset the routine, she'll know what's going on and you won't be able to prepare for victory. Second story. GF of 5 years had ex with her new boyfriend in my bed, in our house, while I was giving her space to think about our relationship. Need support. I am devastated. My GF of 5 years broke up with me without telling me that she was with someone else and had been for at least 1 month. When I found out, I told her that I had no other choice but accept her new relationship and wish her the best. I asked her one thing: not to see him in our house until we sell it or until she buys it from me. I temporarily moved out to give her some space while she thinks about our breakup and what she really wants to do. She's been saying that we could still go back together, but she needed to think about it. She had sex with him in my bed last Friday. I immediately found out and confronted her about it. I told her to pack her things and let me enjoy the comfort of the house. I asked her to leave, take some time to reflect on her side, and let me rebuild myself in our house. I tried moving back in last Sunday, but she wouldn't move. Told me that I couldn't force her to leave the house. I had to change the sheets they had sex in. I had to empty the bin where they threw their used condoms. When I tried to finally go to sleep in my bed, this is what she told me: "Are you sure that you want to sleep in the bed where I ducked him yesterday?" I lost the will to fight. We had a 4-hour chat where I conceded her everything. The house, the dog, the cats, everything we own. I was exhausted. Still am. The worst part, at the end of this chat, she told me that she was losing someone great. That we still had chances to stay together and that I shouldn't give up and I should keep fighting for her. Duck her. I moved out again. Blocked her on every social media and started NC since Monday. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. I miss her so much. See a lawyer about the house. Do not let her take more from you. You will get better. You will heal. Get into therapy. And exclude her from your life completely. Make a list of the things she did to you. And read it when you feel like you want her back. Third story. Wife got drunk and had a meltdown in an Uber. She's been silent for 48 hours. Should I blink first? On Saturday night, my 37 male wife, 33 female, sister 32 female, and my mother 59 female joined me for a Veterans Day related event at a local hotel. There my wife randomly ran into a former co-worker named John, 30-something male, and they spent a good chunk of the evening catching up. He basically kept coming over to our table and kept saying how thrilled he was to see her. At one point she went to the ladies' room with my sister, but ended up staying with him at another table. She was never really far from me, and I didn't think much of it, but I did notice she was drinking a lot more than usual, considering we rarely drink. The event ended around midnight and most people had cleared out already, but her and John were still talking. At which point I came over and said, "Honey, we have to go. Our Uber is waiting." As we walked to the car, she made it clear she was not happy about me coming over and breaking up their conversation and called me a ducking a hole, which made me laugh out loud because she never talks like that, which in turn made her more mad. We got in the car and I sat in the front, while my wife, sister, and mother sat in the back seat. As the driver started heading home, my wife rudely asked him where he was going. The driver said he was following the GPS, and she shouted at him saying, "No, I am going to Norm's. I am hungry." Norm's is a 24-hour Denny's type restaurant that we've been to only once in recent years. I apologized to the driver and asked him to keep following the GPS home, but she kept saying she was going to Norm's. This behavior was completely out of character for my wife, who is a well-educated and very respectful woman. She had never caused a scene in public, and is always very friendly to our Uber drivers. My sister and mother sat there quietly, until my sister texted me she wants to go to Norm's because that's where John is going. I can see her phone and he's texting her right now. After that I told my wife, who was getting louder and more obnoxious, that we could go to Norm's for Sunday brunch in the morning, but that we needed to get home. From there things took a turn for the worse. She started screaming something like, "What am I going to do at home? Play around with your little dick. Your little dick does nothing for me." I should have ducked John when I had the chance. It's time I start ducking real men. Boom. My world fell apart right there in that stranger's car. With the 3 people I love the most in this world. My sister and mother intervened by telling her to shut up, but she kept going, telling me how bad I was in bed and how I couldn't get her pregnant. Along with a bunch of other outrageous things I can't even repeat because it hurts so much. When we finally got home, my sister and mother, who was crying, went inside the house, and I tried to negotiate my wife's exit from the vehicle. After a few minutes I gave up and told the driver to take her wherever she wanted to go. At that point I was more concerned about my mother. About 30 minutes later I got the notification that the ride had ended. She wound up going to her parents' house. That was over 48 hours ago and I haven't heard a peep from her. I haven't tried to contact her either. Her dad came over tonight to get her car and some clothes because she has to work tomorrow. I told him exactly what happened. He said she's not talking at all. She just told them, her parents, that she would be at their house for a few days. So they thought that I was to blame for whatever happened. I really don't know what to do. I am still shaking of anger for what she did, and fear that my marriage might be over just like that, with no warning whatsoever. For the record, it's not that I can't get her pregnant. She's the one who can't have children. But that has never been an issue in our relationship. We knew that when we got married, and I do have a smaller than average penis. But she's known that since before we started dating. We met in 2007 and became best friends, started dating in 2012, and married in 2016. We communicate our sexual desires very clearly, and I thought our ex-life was great. Now I am not so sure. I have always had an unfounded fear of losing her, because she is so smart and beautiful and outgoing, that men are constantly salivating all around her. Even though she has never given me a reason to doubt, I have always feared that some man will eventually come along and convince her that I am not good enough for her. But she is by far the most ethical person I have ever met, so I don't think she has ever cheated on me. And I don't think she really meant everything she said that night, but I am having a difficult time getting my thoughts in order, especially because she hasn't contacted me at all. But then again, this is new territory for both of us. We have never had a significant argument, much less a fight that would lead us to sleep apart one night. Last week was a normal week. Saturday was a fun day. She was very happy all day and we were both very much looking forward to this event. The only variable was her running into John, whom I had met maybe 5 years ago when they worked together, but they had never dated or been particularly close, so I really don't know what triggered her. She also has a very good relationship with my sister and my mother. My sister is one of her best friends and has been for years, so I am sure she's embarrassed for them as well. But her silence now is what's killing me. I don't know what to make of it. Should I be the one to go see her and try to fix things, or should I let her come back on her own terms? This is so mean. Drunk or not. Imagine you are in the car with her mom and sister and you say this stuff about her along with insulting her private areas, humiliating her in front of them. That's not right. How would she feel? Would she come and say sorry to you if you were in her place, especially if you were speaking to another woman all night? Seems like her intentions were not good. Who all knows what she could have said to John? Wait on her to apologize to you. But this is more than just a saying sorry matter. She disrespected you, and on top of that she did it in front of your mom and sis along with a stranger. No. Don't contact her first. You did absolutely nothing wrong. You have nothing to apologize for. And you shouldn't encourage the notion that it is you who has the responsibility of mending things. It sounds like you really loved and respected your wife, but a drunken outburst like this doesn't come from nowhere. The resentment and the thoughts of cheating have been there a while. The alcohol was just a vehicle for their release. You cannot unhear these words, nor can your mom or sister. I would spend some time with your family and seriously reevaluate this relationship and the feelings your wife revealed. Best case scenario, you are looking at tons of therapy. Worst case is divorce. Although it depends on your perspective. Because the best case scenario from the reader's POV is divorce, because you don't deserve a person who would act like that to you, sober or drunk. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.